It's known as the silent killer, and recent research has shown that 50 people die every year from accidental exposure to carbon monoxide poisoning. And it's this time of year when the majority of deaths take place. This week is Carbon Monoxide Awareness Week, and joining me now to discuss the project is George Kowalczyk, who's a regional toxicologist. George, let's start off with, many thanks for joining us. What appliances actually cause carbon monoxide poisoning?
Well, it's anything that can actually burn fossil fuels. So we're talking about your central heating boilers, coal-fired gas fires, propane gas cylinders, that barbecues and things like that. So anything that burns fuel can give off carbon monoxide. And if it's not burnt properly, then you get a build-up of carbon monoxide. And
I presume the reason there are more deaths or problems occur now is because we're putting them on perhaps for the first time. That's possibly true. We're using them a lot more as well. We tend to spend a lot more time indoors now. So these are all factors that contribute to a problem that pre-exists, you know. But there are plenty of ways of making sure that you haven't got the problem in the first place. Well, let's talk about those ways then. Yep. How do we know, as Joe Public, how would I know if one of my appliances isn't correct? Well, you wouldn't know because, you know, as we mentioned at the beginning, you know, it's a silent killer. It's tasteless, colourless, so you don't know if you've been exposed to it. There are some telltale signs that your fires are not burning properly. So you might see quite yellowy flames in your fire, or you might see soot marks around your chimney flue. So those are just telltale signs, but I mean, the real way to sort of find out, really, is either to make sure you have your boiler serviced regularly every year. So once a year is essential to have that done. And to try and get a carbon monoxide monitor. I mean, these things are quite cheap now at DIY stores. I mean, they're only £20 each. I mean, it's nothing, really. Now, the problem, I think, with having appliances serviced, and I'm guilty of it as well, is it's a huge expense. So you suggest you should have it done every year without fail. It's one of those insurance policies. I mean, it's a saving, isn't it? I mean, 50 people die a year. You know, how much is that worth, you know? Okay. So, I mean, it is really worth doing. All right. Now, if you think you possibly are being poisoned, what are the symptoms? Well, the symptoms are... The main symptom would be always at low-level poisoning. You would always get a very bad headache, a banging headache. There are other symptoms which are very similar to flu. So we talk about flu-like symptoms, so people might be confusing having the flu with perhaps being poisoned by carbon monoxide. The one difference would be that if you go out of your home, you will immediately feel better if it's carbon monoxide. With flu, the symptoms will still remain. So, you know, feeling lethargic, tired, banging headache, these are sort of possible telltale signs, coupled with the fact, you know, have you got an appliance, a gas appliance or a coal-fired appliance in the house? And what should your first actions be if you start to feel a little bit poorly? Well, I think you should go see your GP. GPs are now aware that carbon monoxide can be a possible cause of the symptoms that you might be experiencing, so they will try and check those things out for you. You could ring GasSafe. They have a team of qualified engineers now. They've got a website, and they'll find a local GasSafe engineer who will come round and inspect your premises and inspect your boiler and do all the testing that you need to do. Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. It is a very important cause. Thanks very much for raising our awareness to it. Okay, thanks very much, Gemma.